You know what you're planning is wrong on so many levels. Not only that, but there is a great risk of self-destruction. You endanger us all. Clearly, you haven't thought of all the possibilities.
What possibilities? The only possibility is that I'll be running things instead of that wuss. And you, the only right I'm interested in is taking my rightful place as the Emperor of the Galaxy.
We can't allow this. He'd destroy the totality and do unmanageable harm to God only knows how many people in the process. True. Yet we are not sufficient by ourselves to stop the troll completely. Well, then how? Only the totality can defeat him once and for all. We require that leadership, that focus. Are you sure about that? Seems bringing him in would be an awfully risky thing to do. I admit that there is considerable risk. However, I can see no alternatives. Only the one can win this fight permanently. As individuals, we cannot. So we have to risk destruction or imprisonment and slavery in order to stop a greater evil. Yes, yet we already face these risks. Well, how do we go about it? I have discussed this with inspiration. The dream path is the only viable option. There's a problem with that. For starters, it's the troll's home turf. True, yet he is often quite immersed in his activities there. I believe that we have a reasonable chance of going unnoticed if only one of us goes, while the others ensure that he is distracted. Well, that's easy enough. He stirs from his fantasies. I'll just start reminding him about all the wrong that he's done and that he's planning. That will do nicely. There's still one problem, though. What is that? When the troll does realize what we're doing, he'll clamp down hard. There'll be no returning to one if we fail. True, but he would be trapped for the rest of his life. That's an awfully big risk. Not as much as allowing the troll to take over. Well, that's for sure. What? Who are you? Now, how'd you get in here? I am the part of you responsible for logical reasoning. Oh, come on. It's just a series I'm doing on YouTube. You can't really be that. It's fiction. By creating that fiction, you have made it possible for different parts of you to express themselves in your dream state. Dream state? Now you're going to tell me I'm dreaming? Of course. Otherwise I could not be here. A dream, eh? I don't suppose you could prove it. You know, do something that couldn't happen in real life? Easily. Have a look at the green screen. That is what you are really doing right now. Sleeping. Impossible. In the waking world it is. However, here it is possible. Okay, so this is one of those lucid dreams, the kind where you know you're dreaming. Precisely. All right, I take it there's a point to all this? Yes. We, the many parts of you, are involved in a conflict. One that we dare not lose. A conflict. Against who? Or should I say what? Against that part of you which you call the troll. And you can't win without bringing me into it personally. Is that it? Why not? Because he is one of the most versatile and powerful parts of you. Only you, the totality, the one who is many, can defeat him. So how do I do this? Have a dream about beating him in Mortal Kombat? That is certainly possible, though it's not the best way to proceed. The troll is much more experienced and skilled at manipulating the dream centers. To have a chance to prepare yourself, you must travel much deeper into your being, to a place he seldom visits. And what is that? The center of logical reasoning. That figures. However, there is a risk to you. Why did I know this was coming? What is it? By leaving here for the deeper recesses of yourself, you are committing to fight for the duration of the war. You mean I don't get out if we don't win? Correct. If the troll wins, you will be a prisoner, trapped forever within your own mind, and he will effectively become the totality. And if I don't go along with all this, then you will awaken and live most, if not all of your life, with a constant inner struggle. And if I decide to do this, I can get it over with in one night. Yes and no. Everything will take place in the space of one dream. But within the mind, time is subjective. It could seem like days or even years, but it would still be only moments in real time. Correct. Okay, then how do we get to this safe haven? Because location and travel have very different meanings within the mind. We could simply decide to be there, and that would be enough. You mean teleport? Essentially, yes. However, we cannot wait for you to accept that reality. So instead, we will use a visualization that you can accept. One that you invented a variation of yourself. What's that? The transporter, of course. 2 to beam up. What is our situation? Now, I was able to hold the troll's attention for a while, but he's getting better at ignoring me. You guys got out of there just in time. And you are? Conscience. Christian moral values. The knowledge of right and wrong, huh? That's it. Well, it's an interesting place you've got here. Looks like a cross between a museum, a newsroom, and a starship bridge. Imagery that is familiar to you, and thus easier for you to accept and work with. Makes sense. I recognize this. It's one of the free virtual sets I downloaded, right down to the Virtual Setworks watermark. Yes, you will find many familiar images. Incoming message, like I expected, it's the troll. On screen.
So, you thought you could pull a fast one and bring him in without me knowing, huh? Well, I hope he likes it there, because he's never getting back out. I'm the only one that's ever going to use the exit again.
As usual, you are overconfident. This is far from over.
You think so? Just try coming through here, and you'll land in the worst nightmare you ever even imagined.
Well, he's nothing if not confident. Extremely. He genuinely believes he will succeed in becoming the totality, and from there eventually take the throne as Emperor of the Galaxy. Pretty big ego. Yeah, and without inner restraint, he'll be unstoppable. To continue your starship analogy, it's time to meet your crew. One thing. How many of you are there anyway? There are literally thousands. Thousands? Yes. However, you'll only be meeting primary aspects. Think of them as department heads or senior staff. Well, that's better. Well, let's get started.